That's going to be a problem for Spirit Breaker. Cogs are going to be definitely a nuisance to him. Wow, wow, wow. I am so curious, and it is Super who already drops on the Zeus, but man, oh man, this is going to be a spicy matchup. Spicy.
Yes, spicy burrito indeed. The Clockwork, really good against the Bane. Interrupts the ultimate quite easily with the little shrapnels there, your battery assault, but also a good hero against Spirit Breaker, I think. He can charge over the...
It's not like we see Spirit Breaker a whole lot often in these kind of games.
It's a weird interaction with the cogs, because you can... I think he can just run over them. I'm trying to remember the interaction. If you're charging and there's cogs down, do you get zapped by him, or do you just charge on through?
Remaining.
I don't... That's a weird mechanic.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. He'll probably charge on through.
For some reason, I want to think that the Clockwork is to try and tame the Spirit Breaker. Put the cow into the pen, brand him a little bit, give him the rattle trap signature. But yeah, this is
actually, you
awkward.
know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think he'll be able to charge on through. But we're probably going to find out. Absolutely. I mean, it's not every day I don't personally play Spirit Breaker a whole lot often.
Is that Googleable while we're in this pause?
I mean, this is...
Can Spirit Breaker charge over
quite
cogs?
the lineup. Ice 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 has already opted to take control of the Spirit Breaker, so a man who's been very proficient playing in the off lane, he's probably got something up his sleeve with this grab. Super's, has a fantastic Zeus game, and we saw in their previous matchup. And it looks like Black is going to be a core farmer on the Razor, man. This is funky.
Okay, well, 2012 there was a bug report that you could charge over them. Let's see. It looks like charge does go through cogs, but it's a known bug. So I'm not sure if it's fixed. He's not supposed to be able to charge through cogs, but for a long time he's been able to.
And you said it is fixed or not fixed?
No, I'm not sure if it's fixed.
Okay.
That post was in a year ago, late 2013 in the dev forums, with bug reports as early as 2012. So... Maybe good now.
Wowie, wowie.
Wowie, wowie.
Just so crazy. You'd think they would go with something to their old standard. Like we saw yesterday when they played their triple header, and in their final game, they quickly pulled out like the Drought Visage. And they're like, okay, we need to win this game. We're going to go with something that we know for sure that we can pull out and be able to do devastating work quickly. And they did. But this lineup, my friend.
This is the very opposite of that.
Immediate TP? Who just TP'd somewhere? Oh my god.
Skywrath Mage TP's bottom wants to get these wards down before
so they're not
going to
do the 5-man roll through. They want to just immediately block out these camps because they know Vici are probably going to be onto that and look to roll through and scout it out. But he's first on the scene.
This is almost better for one reason, and that is the Lich. He is terrible in level 1 skirmishes.
Yeah.
Because you want to skill sacrifice first, so he's just right clicks. And Kel'Thuzad here, he's not really known for his clickies. Yeah, I was thinking, looking at these cosmetics, like, what the flux is going on with this guy here?
Mother, father.
This ugly bloke getting uglier here with this this helmet. I don't know what's going on with that. And Lich really is one ugly bastard. Just look at it.
Put into a foster home when he was a young little ice cube. All right, man. I mean, I'm clearly like speechless. I'm just so anxious to see how they're going to do this one out, and it looks like it's going to be more of a traditional laning kind of a setup. No aggressive tri-lane coming out here, and
they don't have a lot to deal with this Morphling either. They have no silence. They've got 2 big pieces of lockdown. I mean, you can burst them down with the Zeus, but I feel like if they're not really aggressive and don't shut down Sylar like pretty early on, once we get to that like 30-minute mark, look at Sylar's just going to be running amok.
Ice. Very innovative kind of a role doing the offlane Spirit Breaker. Look at the amount of regen he's been given. He knows he's going to be dealing with a lot of those, the arcade bolts in this lane, and he just needs to have plenty of regen to work with right now. He just needs to survive and get up those solo levels so that he can start building up global harassment. Give me that rune, you bird son of a gun! Just charges him over and takes it for himself.
Yeah, but look at the movement speed difference here. 325 versus the 290. No way Spirit Breaker's closing that gap. And I think Ice Ice's goal generally just to play this like a Nature's Prophet would. When the creature near the tower, get yourself the experience, last hit when you can, and when it's not, leave the lane. And instead of farming in the jungle, he's just going to be charging around and helping in other areas. So, see how this works out for him. The offlane Spirit Breaker, definitely a new one for me. And I'm pumped up. Let's go through the other rosters here. Black will be on the Razor in the position 1, farming in the safe lane. Fenrir here on the Bane Elemental. Anthropos. And FY, he'll be stacking in the jungle. So he's playing the Sand King here, getting that dance party going on. Mid lane, there's that Super Zeus we talked about. And yeah, we've already talked about Ice 3 quite a bit here on the Space Cow.
Outside your Dire, it's LGD China, and leading up the front in July, who's their formidable offlaner, is playing Centaur in the safe lane side by side with your MMY, or X, on your Skywrath Mage. In the mid lane, it's going to be none other than Sylar, one of his more signature heroes, the Morphling. Along the bottom, it's going to be Faith playing the support Lich, and they're going to be finishing out this 2-1-2 lane setup with Yao playing the Clockwork. So they got dual sets of offlaners right now. There's your sleep going to catch here on Yao. Static Link's going to go out here from Black. That Burrow Strike, he's going to be getting huge damage right now. The right clicks are to follow, and he is going to have to pull out the cogs, and he gets a little bit of space to work with, and that's just enough for him to get away. Nice quick timing right there, creating just that small bit of space for him to get those cogs off.
The power of the Clockwork being shown for us, and he'll live. Faith just denying up these creeps, trying to path block and use that sacrifice to get some extra experience going the way of the Dire. Mid lane, a pretty even spread. Sylar and Super just, it's a rice fest here. They're laying in the right clicks into the creeps, and Super is using the Arc Lightning here to farm creeps. Interesting choice in terms of skill build. Actually grabbing a second point in the Arc Lightning at level 3. I feel like that's kind of a rarity. Most Zeuses you'll see leveling up that Lightning Bolt. And just to reference Merlini once more, his words of wisdom were, if you have to use Arc Lightning to last hit creeps, you're probably not doing so well. And, well, Super's getting a lot of last hits here, but this will quell some of his burst damage when he hits like that level 7 mark.
So they had to have noticed that the Clockwork went missing, and he probably went towards that bottom rune, and they wager he's probably going to be popping up somewhere. He did grab that invis. He scouts out mid briefly, and then will step all the way back towards the lane. But him and Lich together, they're not going to get a whole lot done in this lane. It's going to be more Black's lane to farm up, and that's what I'm going to expect. If he moves on in, he catches Bane pretty far in. That's going to force Black to pull up the Static Link, and Bane's going to be in trouble here. But just as I say that, they get the first blood there. It's Faith who grabs it. Bane was just a little too far forward, and Clock with that invis just catches him a little too far out, and they get the job done with some right clicks.
Yeah, only 1 point in the battery assault, but more than enough to bring down the Bane early on. A relatively tanky hero for an int with only level 2, still has 600 hit points, great starting strength, decent armor, but can't take the heat, so will concede the death. You mentioned Lich does get the bonus gold, so that'll be a fast set of boots for Kel'Thuzad. And, well, LGD off on the right foot.
I'm so curious, VG, the last pick Bane. There had to be something that maybe I'm missing as a quick counter back on to get it. Maybe just being able to lock down, obviously, from afar your precious Morphling, but Morphling's typically one to pick up a Lincoln, so that Fiend's Grip is only going to be good for so long before it gets a bit more finicky.
Remember, in the East, they're not quite as serious about the Lincolns.
He's charging towards this mid lane. His first official charge of the game going towards Sylar, and he's not going to be able to get a whole lot out of this, but simply a bump on the rear end. And now he's going to just kind of plant himself in this mid lane for the time being.
Down bottom, Yao gets set up onto the Nightmare. Black starts stealing all the damage. Burrow Strike, and they'll find some vengeance this time around. I don't think Clockwork's going to live to tell the tale. No, Black gets stuck inside the cogs, and with all that bonus damage, makes it an easy pick. And, oh, are they going to find Lich here? He's going to TP. FY, not enough mana for a Burrow Strike anyhow, so does just TP back to the tower, and will be okay as he picks up his boots from this side shop here.
I like a bit of synergy in this tri-lane. Obviously setting up the sleep allows Black to get a nice long duration on that Static Link, and then they time it out nicely from FY's Burrow Strike, and then with right clicks alone they'll be able to quickly take him down. The Brain Sap as well. On top of that, we'll be able to do huge pure damage. Top lane,
oh, ice, ice, ice. He gets chopped down. Just can't take the heat. This Centaur, man, he's farming up his Storm, now finds a kill. And with all that burst damage, this Centaur, I mean, we're looking at like a 6-minute Blink Dagger at this rate. He's got 1,800 gold.
How is a Spirit Breaker supposed to get a lot done in this off lane? I mean, it's such just a far-fetched pick. There's got to be something else I'm missing with this as well. Like, how is he going to contest? He goes back, he might go down again. Just force him to pull out a charge. He just puts it right there on the Birdman, and he's able to get away. But this is going to be a rough road for Ice 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 in this lane, and it's going to be a fantastic path for In July on this Centaur.
Yeah, that was kind of a close call also. If In July was able to get off that hoof stomp, and he was almost in range, that with a double edge would have done some pretty crippling damage to old Spirit Breaker. And, well, I have high hopes for Ice Ice Ice, but this Centaur, he's one of those heroes, the earlier he gets the Blink Dagger, the more of an early game impact he's going to have. And with it at this timing, you can expect him just to pick up a TP scroll, and anytime Vici look to man up, he can just TP to a tower and in the vicinity of these tier 1s, just put that Blink Dagger to good use and set up some counter kills. Also finding his level 6 nice and early. Gets that Stampede, so now ganks in the side lanes. That would be notably more difficult for VG Gaming.
6-minute rune to pop up. It's going to be a regen there on the bottom after Morphling gets the bounty there on the top. So they're going to guard it out in the meantime. But we're seeing a Tift here still, as we might see a proper engagement. They shift around. They know FY is going to be farming this up, and they scout him on out. Let me go on in. Yao pops down the cogs, but FY is not going to be caught in these ones. And they're going to just give him a hard time with this one. You see a charge now coming in all the way from the top lane onto Faith. The Sylar now gets in the party. Waveform forward right now. Five quickly jumps over. Try again. Burrow strikes away from that one. But moving on through is going to be Black as he pulls out the static link now. Well, they end up going 1-for-1, support for support. Ice is still coming. The charge is coming in, and he wants to get a hold of Yao if possible and catch him on the backside. But Yao, well, there's your answer. He goes right through the cogs. It might have been a last-second pop right there, but it's going to be enough to get the job done. Black picks up the last hit, and they end up going 2-for-1. Now they even up the kills, 3-for-3.
Yeah, good trade for VG Gaming, quite obviously there. Centaur, a little surprised to see him not contributing anything at all, but he does pick up the Blink. Wait, where's his Blink Dagger? Where's the Centaur's Blink Dagger? He bought it. It's not on the courier. It's not on his person. Where the hell did it go?
Oh, it's on him now.
Oh.
He must have got it from the side shop.
Wait, am I just blind? Oh my god.
I don't know.
I should have eaten in between these games, man. Blood sugar's getting low. Never mind, he's got his Blink Dagger. Pardon me, folks. That's just a little derp. Okay, we'll move on. So now he's ready to fight. And he's smoked up, joining his buddy here. It looks like they want to pick on this.
Yeah, he wants to put that Blink to use, and it's going to be on FY here. Blink forward, hoof stomp, Faith pops out the nuke, and FY does pull out the nice Sandstorm. And Burrow Strike back's not going to catch, unfortunately. Look who's coming. That little inkling of a signal says Ice is coming, but we don't need your help, buddy. The simple shift over from the Zeus gets the job done, but he changes targets and goes right for Sylar. Gets a nice bump on the back end right there, and now gets a nice bash off. Another bash off! What did he do? Pray to RNGesus before this game? He's got it going right now. It doesn't stop him from getting away on that TP, though, and Sylar has to go all the way back to base.
That's a pretty big deal for Vici. Not only keeping their Sand King alive, but turning it around on the Centaur. The first kill on that Blink Dagger unsuccessful, and as we were talking about with that timing, we're now getting into more standard realms of Blink Dagger timings, and so far Centaur hasn't had too big of an impact with all that early farm he's picked up. And meanwhile, down bottom, Black was racking up the CS, and overall, Vici Gaming just being a little more efficient. Got about a 1,200 gold lead, and experience is zeroed out as they are up one hero kill. Hasted Zeus headed towards the top, and we'll see what he can do with it.
Boom! Takes him down to half, takes him down to a third. And he has to step back, but here comes Ice. Boom! Bang! Ultimate! Catches him on the other side. Another strike is what's going to get the job done. Now Ice might be in a bit of a bind right here. Jumps back. They fake once. They fake twice with the hoof stomp. Turns the corner and might be able to run away from this one, and will. Even uses the power of that empowering haste to kind of get a little bit of extra oomph to step on out.
Yeah, man, that cow's got some fancy footwork in the jungle, as he does survive quite easily. So Sylar back mid. He's farming up as FY takes over the mid lane, while this interim period as Zeus moves about. FY's farm has been interrupted a bit. Level 5, 9-minute mark, only 1,500 gold. So his Blink Dagger notably slower than if he would have been uncontested in the jungle, but 0, 1, and 3 had some assists to help make up for it.
Oh, now Sylar waveforms forward and right into the arms of Super to do heavy burst damage. Ice also going to come in this one, batches him back briefly. Another Burrow Strike follow-up. He's trying to morph up. Can they get down the water, man? He's quickly able to just double back at this point. In July, rotates in, and now he hops forward. Oh. Nice catch on both, my God, Brad. But here comes Ice. They want to try to make him pay for it, but they don't have enough to break the big beefcake. And he just goes back. Huge play from In July. Jump forward, double hoof stomp, double big cleave with a double edge. Double, we got trouble.
Yeah, that first kill not working out for him, but they're more than making up for it. Big Brad living up to his name, dropping the flail all over their faces, and looking at that recap, that's nice, but net worth going the way of the Dire. And they regain that lost momentum. 10-minute rune spawns, bounty up top, going to bottle up that one, a nice 3. He'll grab the regen here in the bottom. He's also picked up his Urn of Shadows. So Mr. Spirit Breaker coming online a little bit, trying to find that sustainability as Black now moving towards his mechanism with that first ring of regen. Smoke on the Lich, as well as his support brethren on MMY and In July. He'll rendezvous with the courier, grabs his tranquils, and the hunt will continue.
Curious how Lich is going to be. Mid lane though. They get the Nether Strike. Sylar might not be so lucky this time. He is desperately morphing up though. Waveform's away, and it's just proven to be too hard to take down this Morphling right now, man. He's got plenty of strength to just kind of put himself into to avoid the heavy burst coming out, even from a Zeus, who's got one of the best burst potentials in the game.
And here we go, in July down bottom. He's getting charged, uses the Stampede, goes in onto Black. There's the setup, the follow-up from the Sky Wrath, more than enough to bring him down. Hookshot will be off the mark, but Ice 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 coming in. The Chain Frost bounces around, bounces across the heroes. Ice 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 in trouble. Down he goes. Now Fenrir, the target of choice. Looks like he'll be left alone for now, as it's Super that's come back into the lane. LGD will sound the retreat, and it'll be a 1-for-2 as the Clockwork falls, trying to make it out. So Big Brad will be able to TP to safety, and once more it's LGD that come out ahead with another big net worth change moving in their favor.
LGD looking strong, even going against
Radiant's
this
top tower is
unorthodox
under
lineup
attack.
from Vici Gaming, and they're getting it done all over the place, and it's proven that Sylar is just a tough cookie to crack in this mid lane. Back-to-back engagements on him, and they can't quite finish what they started. Now, I was going to talk about how Lich and his ultimate and how he's going to make use of it in this, aside from just your basic team fights, as the game does progress, you got big ultimates still. The Epicenter, obviously, if they're in view, but also the Bane. I imagine he's going to reserve the Frost to be able to get that mini-stun out. Even if he does somehow throw together the BKB, he might consider reserving it just in case Bane finds a proper target to lock down.
Yep, and up top, Spirit Breaker in the sights of the Centaur. Sylar also making the rotation. Item build on Sylar, still not sure what he's going for here. We saw Morphling earlier today going straight for the shotgun, right into the E-Blade. And maybe something Sylar opts for here also. Usually not one to grab the Lincolns, but initiation onto Ice Ice Ice. The silence is there to follow up, but there's your Fiend Script from Fenrir. The damage from Zeus secures the kill onto the Spirit Breaker, and Sylar able to get off that Morph Strength. The Fiend Script not going to be enough to turn it around for a kill. A lot of low health heroes here on the side of the Dire, and while we're looking at that down bottom, Black finds a solo double on the Clockwork and Lich. Holy Toledo, wish we were watching that. It's Black now with a lot of momentum.
It looks like they made the jump in play with the hook shot and trying to get something done. Lich obviously did not have his ultimate, and maybe they just underestimated the power of this Razor being able to pull out a huge static link and all that huge damage, and ultimately just blew up in their face. Clockwork doesn't have a whole lot of farm himself, just a couple of measly little strike gloves, and the Stout Shield is not going to stand up to the heavy right-click damage that this Razor can really take away.
Yeah, top lane. Fenrir doesn't have a Fiend's Grip, but we see some pings on both sides of the coin as Ice 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 charges over the tree line. Nether Strike onto In July, but that's one tanky Centaur. Just going to tickle the armor, and Horseman, he'll turn his tail, shake a little bit, and be A-okay. Sand King, he's been quiet over the past few minutes, but finds himself the Blink Dagger, 0, 2, and 3. Hasn't had the huge impact yet, but now is his time.
Got another charge ready to go. Remember, in this recent patch, it's only 12 seconds before you get to use this charge again. That 12 seconds, of course, triggers once he hits his target. So,
yep, no Stampede for another 10 seconds. LGD, full 5-hero rotation for this, as they're ready to keep their Morphling alive, and no fight will come out from Vici. Looks like Sylar will go for the BKB first, and keep it up in true Sylar style as In July. Well, a little indecisive there, thinking about the casual cloak, but goes back for the regen and grabs the Ring of Health.
BKB obviously going to help out from anything FY dishes out from his Sand King, and of course Zeus. Super Zeus is going to be rendered to just a measly right-click hero going against Sylar once he does get a hold of that BKB.
Blink Dagger now.
That's huge.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Going for the mobility, yeah.
Radiant
Zeus,
structures
following the
are
wise
fortified.
words of Marlini himself, Zeus reincarnated. But here we go. Tier 1 tower up top. Glyph's already been used.
Radiant's top tower
Yao had
has
great
fallen.
positioning also on the right-hand side in case something was
Dire's
to come out.
bottom
He could hook
tower
shot
is under
forward and
attack.
catch a hold of someone. But LGD, man, looking real good. And July lingers back and behind for now. It looks like maybe they were considering an opportunity to really open up, but we'll have to see, man. LGD and Ice 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 on the Spirit Breaker. I'm questioning what he really brings to the table in their lineup, and I'm still curious. I'm hoping that there's something that's going to be able to shine through and kind of show me
Dire's
really
bottom
what
tower
the
is
Spirit
under
Breaker is going to be able to
attack.
offer that other offlaners couldn't, that he could have grabbed.
Yeah, 15 minutes in, Vici don't have a huge lead right now, about 1,000 gold, but not that sizable. And as I mentioned, Spirit Breaker doesn't really excel once you get to that late game and the 5v5 team fights break out. His single target damage kind of falls off once you get past that 30-minute mark or so. And yeah, sure, they've got the Razor who can scale pretty damn well, but not quite on that same level of the Morphling. So that's where I get a little bit more nervous for Vici. And as you pointed out a few times, once those BKBs comes out, and already the Centaur gearing up for a pipe, perfect itemization here against all this magic damage. They're already hedging their bets pretty effectively.
This is going to be scary for Vici Gaming. They're going to need to find a way to really open this game up for them and not try to press it too long, because as these items continue to progress on the side of LGD, and they're just choosing great items to kind of build into. That pipe and BKB build on Sylar, it's just going to be so devastating to Super on his Zeus. That big burst damage that maybe he pulled off in the previous matchup is not going to be at its same potency, and it's going to be strong. Oh, here we go. We got a move coming out. LGD scouting out their own jungle. They pull the Stampede jump forward. They catch out Super. Big double-edged burst. Burrow striking desperation to try to save Mystic Flare. They're going to catch it here on Bane for the big part. And ultimately, they do take down the Zeus. Bane also going to fall shortly after. Charge coming on in. Can they finish off in July? He pulls back in the last second to get silenced right up. Burrow strike comes in Epi from FY. Ends up taking out 2, making a 2-for-2 trade. Black moves on through, wants to be able to take it to Sylar right now. Doesn't have a whole lot of damage to work with as Sylar continues to prove to be one of the tankiest ones in the game, but he can't withstand the huge right click still coming out, and the Eye of the Storm proved to be more than enough. And wow, Vici Gaming turn around, and this is what they need to do. They need to continue to build up on top of these fights and hold the momentum before it gets out of their hands.
Yeah, a bit of a close call, though. Ends up being a 2-for-3, and the epicenter from FY is what really turned that one around. So many low-health heroes on the side of LGD. Centaur fake pumps the hoof stomp as he bumps into the Sand King in the jungle. They'll kiss and then part ways. LGD might be able to find a recovery kill or two here. If Vici aren't careful, Black on the run. It's a Radiant Observer down, so they don't have the vision. No hook shot up on the clockwork for another 10 seconds, and everyone on Vici will be able to make it back, but they still get a decent trade out of that one. And yeah, that Morphling, man, just morphing all the strength. He didn't have any armor, and with the minus armor from the Eye of the Storm from Razor, Black was really laying in the right clicks and doing some pretty serious damage there.
Super on this mid lane sees Morphling, and they kind of just have the respectable trades towards the mid lane, while Bane solo farms on the bottom, pushes towards level 7 now and gets his Brain Sap all the way up to level 4. Hasn't really made big use quite yet of that Fiend's Grip, but he always, like I said before, has to keep an eye out for Lich to just kind of nurse his Chain Frost for that optimal moment and prevent him from being able to lock down any sort of ally. So it's going to be tricky enough as it is for Faith to try to find a good opportunity to get a good Fiend's Grip off.
Yeah, definitely so. Now we'll glance at the graph once more. Now Vici up by about 1,500 gold, 750 experience. Momentum slowing down a little bit as both sides go back to farming. Sylar not too far away from his BKB, has enough for the Mithril, and now halfway to the recipe. That's that first big item pickup that'll make Vici's life a lot more difficult. And again, I don't know what they have planned to deal with all these BKBs. They'll have to find some way to bait them out, but even the pipe is going to prove to be a pretty significant challenge, as Centaur is just a recipe away on that also.
You know, another reason that I didn't even realize until now that Sylar probably isn't even going with the Lincoln Sphere to begin with is Charge is a free 12-second Lincoln Sphere mover. Global Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah, you got to get the vision, but once you see him, it's forget about it. Yeah,
picking out bottom lane. Sylar's here, he's in Viz, but I don't know if they have proper vision or not. He's just waiting in the trees, and they're bringing in a bit of a rotation while there's company waiting behind Sylar here.
Yeah, there's your ultimate from Zeus. Gives the Spirit Breaker the vision that he needs. Will hop back to the replicate, but Sylar still getting charged. No, Ice 3 does break it off, and that'll be the end of it. But there's some cute synergy there. Sets it up with Super's ultimate, and then that lets Ice choose his target as long as he's fast to act. But here you go. Smoke from Vici on the 4 heroes top lane. They'll rotate down near the rune and maybe into the dire jungle. They see Sylar. They ping him out. And that seems to be their target of choice. They also ping out the high ground as they have vision in the dire jungle. Complement to that ward. They still want to fight. They find Sylar, the charge forward, right onto MMY. And Ice in the front lines. The follow-up from FY gets off the Burrow Strike, but Mystic Flare doing a lot of damage to the two of them. Both of them fall as the Chain Frost bouncing like crazy. Now Fenrir in trouble. It's a quick 3-0 on the side of LGD. And it may be even more. Now Super caught by the hoof stomp. Sylar waveforms forward, and it's a complete backfire for Vici. They hit the pipe, and it looks like they're coughing up a storm.
Man, oh man, that was a bad fight to take there from Vici Gaming. They were hoping to get in there and get some big follow-up plays, but FY's Epicenter ended up amounting to nothing, and same for the Bane's ultimate. The Fiend's Grip also just really didn't have the opportunity to get out there, and it's rough stuff right now. LGD looking super strong in this one as they press on forward this mid lane. They're going to add pressure on this mid lane tower.
Radiant's middle tower
And
is under attack.
they have a very, very
Radiant
strong lineup to
structures
just kind
are
of play it extra
fortified.
safe and push it on home, while Vici, it's more pressure to them to try to make sure they keep momentum on their side.
Yeah, and this Centaur with that early Blink Dagger still being a thorn in their side now has the pipe complete, and the Morphling will have his BKB. Two huge item pickups that LGD didn't even need for that last fight, and now they'll have set up. Lich looking towards a mech, and not too far away from that either. Basically just looking at a recipe. So yeah, this is one loaded up courier on his way out here. And now Vici Gaming in kind of a rough place. The other issue is, as we talked about, they don't really have the late game. Razor's going mech BKB, so what gives him late game potential is your Aghanims, your Refresher, that double Eye of the Storm that's all buffed up. These items that Black is getting are certainly good items, but are they enough to really let you
Dire's
out-carry a
bottom tower is
Morphling?
under
That's a
attack.
totally different
They're
question.
the stepping stones to get up to that pinnacle point, but there's a lot of steps you got to get up to, and it's a matter of once you get to that
Dire's
point,
middle tower
is
is
there going to
under
be a
attack.
Morphling on the other side that's going to be hitting a lot harder and doing a lot more work than you. And more often than not, the Morphling who gets a significant amount of farm is going to be one who's going to be coming out on top. And he already has his BKB now. I imagine he'll look to build forward into some additional bit of damage, whether that be now the straight to Scotty, the Manta, or what have you. We'll see where he takes it from here.
Yeah, just tanking up is definitely a good way
Radiant's
to go.
top tower
And
is under
honestly,
attack.
like Manta Scotty had two great items. Beef him up, get him some illusions, and get that utility slow. That's where things will be extra scary for Vici Gaming. But yeah, down bottom, maybe initiated on as FY
Radiant's
just
top
walks
tower
by.
is
Doesn't have the
under
Blink
attack.
Dagger on cooldown. And there's your ultimate from Zeus. Super comes in, sets up some damage. FY channels the Epi right on top of Yao, but he'll hook shot out and mitigates all the damage nearly from the Epi. They turn it around onto the Zeus, make it a 1-for-1. Mystic Flare on top of FY. No Blink Dagger for you. Will Burrow Strike into the tree line, but now Silence gets chopped down. And this will be a 1-for-2 exchange. LGD with the great reaction and a brilliant hook shot coming out of that
It
clock.
rotates to the bottom, and now Vici Gaming do know that there's not going to be that same rotation towards the mid,
Dire's
so they
middle
quickly
tower
press on in
has
and finish
fallen.
out that tier 1 tower, so they try to get something out of it, so that makes things relatively even for them, losing 2 heroes but gaining the tier 1 tower, but yeah, LGD are quick to react to try to make them pay for that brief engagement there on the clockwork.
Yeah, I like the reaction and how quickly it came about. Not a moment's hesitation when the clockwork was initiated on. They reaped the benefits. Now, basically the biggest lead we've seen this game, about 2,000 gold, 5,000 experience going their way. Centaur grabs that Vitality booster to help tank up, looking towards his Heart of Tarask most likely. And Super, it looks like just it's a Yasha coming out. So probably a Manta out next, but just going for that farming tool and getting a little bit extra movement speed under his belt.
So Ice on this interesting Spirit Breaker as it is. It's got the
Dire's bottom
chainmail.
tower
I don't
is
know if
under
this is the
attack.
very early makings of an AC, or if he's going to go for a Buckler to a Crimson Guard kind of a build here, and just try to be a bit of a bouncer for his team to charge on in. But with the mech already built up, obviously, in the hands of Black, just, kind of gets me a little percolated as far as where this chainmail's going to be going.
Yeah, Stampede used. They want Super down bottom. They'll be able to close the gap, get off the hoof stomp, double edge. Even a Mystic Flare committed. Ice is charging across the map. Maybe they'll TP to the tier 1. Look to make
Radiant's
a hold, but
bottom
no.
tower
He
is under
cancels it
attack.
and will just kind of walk his
Dire's
way to the
top
mid
tower
lane. Could
is
still
under
see a
attack.
tower for tower exchange. Vici up top and LGD in the bottom. There is a glyph available for the Dire, none for the Radiant. So LGD actually do have the window of opportunity to take out the tower, glyph, and head
Radiant's
up top.
bottom
But
tower has
no,
fallen.
they won't even glyph. So watch
Dire's
out.
top
Here's their
tower has
ticket.
fallen.
Poor Super, this isn't the big pinnacle Zeus performance he had in the last go-around where when he was facing LGD, it was going against like a Terrorblade and, a more flimsier set of heroes and Yao playing on the, the TA, and of course they even had the MMY Nyx Assassin to help scout him out, but right now he's going against
Radiant's
some big
bottom
beefy heroes.
tower
There's your hook
is
shot,
under
not going to
attack.
catch though. On that
Dire's
mid
top
lane, it
tower
looked like.
is
Where
under
mid lane?
attack.
Yeah, mid lane, and it
that's
wasn't
a
going to get
whiff
there.
there on the
Ice.
Ice.
Yeah.
Still, a lot of heroes. There's Big Brad hopping over the tree line, and this roaming duo, the hoof stomp into Mystic Flare. So damn potent. Picking up a hell of a lot of kills this game and grabbing another one here in the mid. They'll grab a tier 1 tower off of it, and Sylar now
Dire's
rotates up
structures
top
are fortified.
and will try to defend the push
Radiant's
coming into his
middle
tier
tower
2. They'll
is under
glyph it
attack.
as it does go down to about half health. Meanwhile, the rest of LGD starting to chip away at this tier 2 in the mid. Brad just slapping it with his axe. They've got a siege creep doing some work, and it is LGD furthering their lead now. 4,000 gold, 7,500 experience. Still looking pretty damn strong.
Can't help but feel like the pressure on Black to really pull it out for this Razor is just getting out of control. I mean, you have your Zeus style that's really amounting to not a whole lot. The Spirit Breaker has been in question pretty much since the draft as far as what he's going to be able to contribute to his team. That Chainmail, by the way, turns into a Blade Mail, which does work nicely against Skywrath Mage if he gets caught in the back end of another Mystic Flare like that and is able to pop the Chainmail, or the Blade Mail rather. That's going to be huge damage returned, of course, to Skywrath Mage, as flimsy as it is. So respectable, but how much is it really going to contribute to someone like Sylar on the Morphling? And, you know, already as well, Super's in question as far as what you contribute. Yeah, you can go through a BKB with your Bane, but if Lich is in the back line throwing out the Chain Frost, your Fiend's Grip's not going to last too long. I just can't help but feel like LGD just have a much more solid game plan, and it's going to be stuff like this from VG, pulling out these, a Courier. Oh, they're going to break the smoke for it. I don't think they are. Instead, charging on through. It's going to be ice inside, so they catch it off. There's a big zap right now, and immediately they take down the Skywrath Mage like he's nuttin'. But using the Stampede right now to get away defensively, you can't quite outrun, though, Ice Spirit Breaker. This is one of the few things he can do. Gets a hold of Lich. Lich, he will end up going down. That's their best chance. Taking down the supports is, you know, not going to be a whole lot of trouble still for VG Gaming, but the big question is what are they going to do against the big boys?
Yeah, I mean, a good smoke rotation, they get about 2,000 net worth trade out of that, so certainly good, but only on the supports. And now the charge onto the Replicate. Ice.
Oh, the Fiend's Grip, too. They're committing so much to just a Replicate. Oh, boy, that's unfortunate for VG Gaming.
Yeah, LGD feeling
Replicate
happy
mind
about
games.
That one. So now Force Staff out on the Zeus for Vici, and yep, continuing on with those mobility tools, but LGD still in pretty good shape. That'll make a dent into their gold lead, but not going to deter them all so much. Centaur now pretty damn close to his Heart of Tarask, and Morphling has enough to complete the Manta, but I'm not convinced that's what he's going for. I think it could just be the casual Yasha now into Scotty, as we've seen a couple times. They'll turn their sights towards Roche, and well, kind of just because they feel like it. It's a 5v5 on the field, but they know Zeus has no ultimate for at least a few more seconds, and they saw the Fiend's Grip down, so I guess that's enough just to feel comfortable moving into the big one.
I don't think really VG Gaming can really contest this. Fiend's Grip's down. FY could just kind of go ham with an Epi, but the follow-up I don't think will be enough to take him down. Now they have that information and intel with the pop of the Zeus ultimate. FY actually goes in for this one. He's thinking he can just grab a hold of something. He goes into a burrow and just eats the Mystic Flare and goes down. That was a ballsy play. I don't know what that was about. Now Black goes on in with his BKB, and they're trying to get a hold of someone on LGD, but they lose 3 already. This is a disaster of a play from VG Gaming, and they're quickly on the way to going, what, 1-3 now in the Summit 2?
Yeah, they're going to go bust on this one, and that's a 4-0 trade. Triple kill for MMY, and, well, again, the useless team fight recap not going to do much for us, but uncontested Roche. Aegis of the Immortal goes the way of the Morphling, and looks like, what's he have coming out here? Another ultimate orb for Sylar, so it will be a Scotty as his next item, as the Heart of Tarask recipe's picked up, and there's your full duels.
What were they thinking?
You know,
they saw them all there with the Zeus ultimate, and FY's like, maybe I can sneak it in time and get a nice burrow off on everyone and try to snag it. And
I think that was the plan, but he just mistimed it. That's such a difficult thing to time, though, and sure, you have the vision when the ult is on, but running in blind like that...
But best case scenario, let's say he does manage to snag it. I mean, he'll probably quickly get taken down. Unless he can quick blink out of there.
Well,
they're
probably hoping he hops in, takes the Aegis, and that gives him time for his Blink Dagger to reset, so he can use that and either Burrow Strike or blink away, and then Epi to reinitiate the fight to come back in. I think that's like the dream in that kind of a scenario, but feels like such a risky play where the rest of the team were... Yeah, not in the position to do it, and I mean, obviously the follow-up just wasn't there. They crumbled, and Black used his BKB, did what damage he could, but in the end, it ends up being another death on him. So the 7-2 Razor now looking towards the Aghanim Scepter, still not really packing that much of a punch. It's up to a 10,000 gold, 14,000 experience lead as LGD just pull further and further ahead in this matchup, and Morphling getting out of control. We talked about that 30-minute mark, and Well, I just feel like they've got nothing to deal with Sylar at this point, who is very
Dire's
soon to have a
bottom
Scotty,
tower
and
is
yeah,
under
now Big
attack.
Brad, he's just shy of 3,000 hit points with a pipe.
I don't know what they're going to do. What can Super do against the Centaur? What can Super do
Dire's
against
bottom tower
Sylar's
is under
Morphling
attack.
at this point? He's just a Zeus
Dire's
who's dishing out
structures
some lightning
are
bolts, and they're
fortified.
just laughing at him.
Yeah.
He's like, now he's just using the R button to scout in some extra information. He can
Dire's
clear
bottom
out
tower
waves
is under attack.
very nicely, but really, other than that, it's going to be so difficult as it is. Bane doesn't even have a level in Feeble, so he can't help out with just kind of nerfing
Dire's
the damage a
bottom
bit.
tower has
And,
fallen.
you know, Fiend's
Dire's
Grip, I don't
middle
know
tower
how much
is
that's going
under
to be able to
attack.
help out and aid everyone else. Spirit Breaker, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully they'll Mystic Flare him and he'll get a Blade Mail off, but LGD looks so good. They put together more of a standard kind of a lineup, and given they have double off-laners, but they pull out the clockwork seeing the draft that VG have thrown together, and it's just proven to be so nice for them. Now, with only about 2 minutes to spare on this Aegis, it's time for LGD to fight, and I imagine they're going to feel very confident.
Yeah, 2 minutes on the Aegis, a full Scotty, all these shiny new items, still a gem being carried around on the Centaur. There's just no reason for them not to pick a fight right now. Vici not really in fighting shape. Even the Aghanims not yet out on the Razor. A great window of opportunity, and they'll find it. They go right in on Defend Rear. He'll be the first to go down as the Mystic Flare comes out. So no Bane for the rest of this fight, and now they'll continue to fight it. The Chain Frost flies through, doesn't take any bounces, but Black gets hook-shotted from close range,
Dire's
caught
top
inside of the
tower is
cogs,
under
and
attack.
he'll go down. That'll finish him up.
That's the purpose of Clockwork this game.
Yep. And the charge from Spirit Breaker coming over, but hey, there's a Yule Scepter. That's an item that counters the Space Cow. And
What?
was that a Rage Quit or was that a Land Center fail?
I have no. They all immediately DC. It had to be some sort of
I have a feeling their router just fell apart.
something. Just
But still, that's Ice 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 is definitely dead. So this is to be a 3-0. I mean,
thank God for the quick pause, but I don't know. Wow,
this is really,
Speechless.
really depressing, man. Vici Gaming, they were
they're like the
the
favorites
favorite
to come
team.
out.
Yeah,
you know?
coming into
I mean,
this
given
and-
the newbies was expected to be strong.
Yeah.
and they've
Vici and
been
Newbie
strong.
were the top two favorites.
Yeah,
And
but
you
this
see
is-
Newbie performing 5-0, and Vici, they're looking like they'll be 1-3. Turning this
don't-
game around just feels nigh impossible at this point.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, LGD have been also performing very, very well. They're number 2 right now in the Summit too, and you know, with the recent pickups of MMY and Sylar, they have been looking very, very sharp, and have definitely shown that in all of their games. But we were expecting something a little more closely matched. I mean, right now you're looking into finding out what the situation is, of course, as far as Vici Gaming with their full immediate DC. I would imagine that something had just been unplugged or shut off promptly, and hopefully that wasn't too much to kind of deter the fight. It looked like they were still engaging up to that last and final moment, but holy
I mean-
Toledo! I said it during the draft. This is a ballsy play to put a draft like this together when you definitely need a win.
I really can't argue with that. There's something to be said for that Hail Mary tactic, catch your opponents off guard with a draft that they'd never see coming, but that is a best of one strategy, but this is just, they're not quite there yet. I mean, they're still at the point where they can play this one straight up. Vici are the favorites, 60-40 on the Dota 2 Lounge bets.
But this is on the way to another upset. There's a lot of people out there winning a lot of rares today, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Holy moly. I'm watching the recap here on the stream to see. I mean, they were playing to the final moment. Black went down, and looked like
I mean, Black
Ice Ice
was
Ice got
auto-attacking,
caught out with
yeah.
the Yules, and then, boom, they immediately all DC'd at the same time, and then the pause, obviously, the auto pause immediately came out.
Okay, well, we've got one reconnect. Black is here,
Wow.
so that's at least something.
But it looked
He
like
says
that wasn't a
GG.
reason. Yeah, they just come back to call GG.
That's a real GG. That's it.
That's it.
Radiant's bottom tower
All right.
is under attack.
Well,
I mean, I don't think that was like a rage quit out. I think that
No,
they
it's-
legitimately disconnected, and
you
they,
can't time it
I
that
think
well.
during the time when they're trying to reconnect, they're probably looking at you like, guys, are we really going to be able to come back from this? Like, is there a reason that we should try to get our heads back into this one and try to make a comeback? And I think they all came to an agreement that there wasn't. It was LGD's game from the start, unorthodox draft to say in the lightest, and wow, they really need to pull it together and bring some W's in if you want to try to get up to tiebreaker status. But on the opposite end, LGD, man, they look fantastic. They put together a great draft. They see they try to see through the interesting game plan of Vici. And with the last grab there of the clockwork, they're like, well, if it looks like your only core is going to be Razor, someone who likes high mobility and being able to catch up and lock down heroes and take as much damage, we'll just get someone like the clockwork to jump right in and just kind of catch you, and then we'll focus fire you down. And all we have to do is get a couple of BKBs in a pipe, and Super Zeus is going to amount to nothing, and it looks like LGD get redemption and a bit of revenge after their previous matchup in the WCA.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have one more game coming up. It's Vici versus DK. Hopefully Vici can get their connection issues settled, and they absolutely need this one before their chances at the top 4 are pretty dwindled. So we'll have a break, and one more game coming up for today's coverage of the Summit 2 by G2A.com China.